Hey everybody, it's Tim Anderson again here for the Wasabi Company. I hope you enjoyed me talking about miso. I got to try a lot of delicious misos, so I enjoyed it. Today, I'm talking about soy sauce, which is maybe the most important seasoning in Japanese cuisine. So I wanted to sort of break it down. Now, when you buy soy sauce, first of all, if you're cooking Japanese food, you need to use a Japanese soy sauce. They have a different flavor from Chinese or other Asian versions, mainly because of the use of koji. That's Japan's, what they call the national fungus. It's a mold that's used in the fermentation, not only of soy sauce, but also things like sake and miso, and it imparts a kind of unique flavor to Japanese soy sauces that other soy sauces don't have. So please buy a Japanese brand if you're cooking Japanese food. As for what kind to buy, now, that is a big question. First of all, whenever you buy a soy sauce, it should be what they call naturally brewed. That means that it doesn't have any additives or is sort of fermented using adjuncts. I don't have anything against additives in general. I don't think they're evil or anything like that, but the bottom line is that when you buy a non-naturally brewed soy sauce, they just don't taste as nice usually. So you want to get one where on the label, read the ingredients, and like this one, which is the Wasabi Company's own brand, it's only got soy sauce. Sorry, it's only, of course it's got soy sauce. It's only got soybeans, wheat, water, and salt. That's all you need to make soy sauce. You don't need to add any caramel coloring or acidifiers or anything like that. That's all you need, and that's how you make a delicious soy sauce. Now, as for what kind of soy sauce, there are lots of different kinds, even just within Japan. A catch-all sort of basic category of soy sauce is shoyu, but even within that category, you will find lots of different variations. Some recipes in Japanese food and otherwise will call for light and dark soy sauce, and we'll get into that. They don't actually really go by those names. In Japanese, light soy sauce would be called Usukuchi, which actually means thin flavor or light flavor. And then there isn't really there is Koikuchi soy sauce, which does mean rich or dark or heavy soy sauce. But that actually is more similar to a basic shoyu anyway. Usually when you want a dark soy sauce flavor, you go for a Tamari, which is a soy sauce that's not been brewed with any wheat. So it's got a richer flavor, but we're going to talk about that with some specifics and see how even that's not always the case. So again, with miso, with any kind of Japanese seasoning or any kind of seasoning in general, you need to shop around, taste, try, and get to know the whole world of shoyu before you decide which is the one for you. Now, I've got a range of delicious soy sauces from the Wasabi Company in front of me that they were generous enough to send. They're all delicious, and it's hard to pick a favorite. They're like my children. I mean, not really, but they all have their own uses. You can't just have one soy sauce in the house, is what I'm trying to get at. They have very different flavors, surprisingly different flavors, even for me, actually. Some of these really, I thought they'd be one thing, and they tasted very, very different. And if you look in front of me, you can see even by the color, the incredible range that there is. So we'll go from light to dark. And again, this isn't a light versus dark soy sauce categorization. It just is, those are the colors. So first of all, over here, the lightest one, we have what's called a Shiroshibori. That means white soy sauce. And it's from the Yuasa Brewery in Wakayama. By the way, these are from all over Japan. There are regional variations, which to be honest, I don't know that much about. But again, you get different flavors from different parts of the country. Now, Shiro Shoyu means white soy sauce, and obviously it's not really white, but it's very, very light. That's because it's brewed with a higher proportion of wheat as compared to soybeans. But light soy sauces are really good where you want to have a good seasoning, but keep the color of the dishes, not make them turn dark brown. And they tend to be very salty. This is like seawater salty. It's really, really good. Quite sharp. But it's got this really kind of long-lasting umami that comes after that initial saltiness. There's something kind of nutty about it, which is really nice as well. I think that's probably from the wheat. But it's a really good all-around light soy to have on hand, and that's I especially like using white soy with rice dishes, so you don't turn the rice brown. Like dish called takikomi gohan, which is kind of like a Japanese pilaf. You cook things together with seasonings with the rice, or in a ramen broth that you want to keep clear and light, like a tonkotsu, traditionally white or off-white pork broth. This would be a great seasoning for that. Salt forward, but again, with this sort of long-lasting savoriness in the aftertaste, it's delicious. A step up from that is this one. Now, if you look at this, I would think that's maybe even another light soy, another Usukuchi. But actually, this is a Tamari, which really surprised me because Tamari, like I said, is usually thought of as a darker, richer soy sauce. And this one is brewed without wheat, all soybeans. But it's not really very dark. It's not really very thick. And the flavor is delicious, like really sort of perfectly balanced, not very salty, so you can really splash it on. It's got a kind of like sort of a caramelly flavor, so it would be really good in a dessert, I think, in particular. But also any kind of white or lighter meat would be good, or fish as well. I think that for me, I would use this one in a chicken broth ramen, because that sort of perfectly down the line, slightly fruity, slightly nutty soy sauce flavor, it really makes, like, when you put it with chicken, it makes like this great gravy kind of flavor, this deep, meaty deliciousness. So yeah, amazing Tamari, especially if you don't eat gluten. Go for this one. It's fantastic. Oh, and I should say that one's from Igeta Brewery in Shimane Prefecture. Next, okay, so this one is really special. You can see I get through a lot of it. This is a Nama Shoyu from the Yugeta Brewery in Saitama. Nama means unpasteurized, so you got to keep this one in the fridge after you open it. And it is so delicious because it's not pasteurized. You get a lot more like complexity. It's got almost like this kind of fruity, earthy funkiness that you get actually from a miso. It's got a lot of different aromas going on. There's a little bit of sort of dark fruit in there. People who like stout would probably like this. It's quite malty. And this is the one I would go for as sort of a, first of all around soy sauce in general. It's just really, really good. I could almost drink it. Please don't. But if you're so inclined to be good in a Bloody Mary. But with sashimi or sushi, this would match with so many types of fish. It would go well with the rice and the nori. I'd be very happy with this soy sauce and a plateful of sushi. That's a great night. Okay, lastly, really special. That's why there's not much of it. A really unique, really special soy sauce. This is a 20-year aged soy sauce from the Kamebishi brewery in Kagawa. And as you might expect, it is accordingly not cheap. It comes in a small bottle, and it's very, very intense. Oh, it's like from another planet, this soy sauce. But a little bit goes a long way. You can see how thick it is. It's like oil. Oh, and the flavor is so intense. It just sort of like jumps out at you with this incredible, powerful punch of umami and almost like a smoky flavor. It's really got like almost like a really rich, bitter, burnt caramel flavor. But there's like nice spice and nice salt in there as well. It reminds me a bit of licorice, a bit of coffee. I think it would be fantastic if you have a really good aged steak or piece of beef. That would be a perfect thing to pair it with. You don't need a lot, just a tiny drizzle over each slice after it's been cooked, or brush even on top of it would be perfect. But barbecue, it would also be really, really good with barbecued meat, I think, because it has that little bit of spice and that little bit of, not quite smokiness, but almost like a woodiness, like a peated whiskey kind of thing going on, which would be perfect to pair with rich grilled meats. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many more soy sauces to try, so many different varieties, so many different makers. Like I said, the main thing is try a few, find the one you like. If you try a few and you haven't found one that you're particularly enamored with, then keep trying them. Like I said, there's a world of soy sauce to explore. And they will really transform your cooking, especially if you go for, say, something like this one, the Shoyu, the white soy, or this one, the very long aged 20-year soy sauce. They can really transform your cooking. So get to know your soy sauce, people. It'll change your life, maybe.